All right, everyone, buckle up, because today we are diving into something pretty wild: quantum computing and biblical prophecy.
Yeah, you heard that right. We're looking at this article and it's exploring how all the crazy advancements by like Microsoft, Amazon, and Google might actually line up with, well, with what the Bible says about knowledge, and the end times.
It's definitely fascinating to consider how these ancient texts might offer some insight into these groundbreaking technology.
Right. Like, is it possible the Bible actually predicted this stuff?
Well, let's see what the article has to say.
Okay, so let's start with Microsoft. They're working on this thing called the Majorana 1 chip. And get this, they're using these things called Majorana fermions, which are basically particles that are their own antiparticles. Like, how is that even possible?
It's a truly unique approach. Imagine a key that can both unlock and lock a door. That's kind of what it's like with a Majorana fermion acting as its own antiparticle.
Okay, that's a pretty wild analogy. So is that the big deal here? Like, is it all about these Majorana particles? Well, Microsoft believes that by harnessing these elusive particles, they can create more stable qubits.
Okay, so I've heard of qubits, but I'm still a little fuzzy on what they are and why stability is so important.
Well, think of it this way. Imagine you're trying to build a house of cards, but you're doing it on a vibrating table.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Right. That's kind of what it's like working with qubits right now. They're incredibly susceptible to what we call decoherence.
Decoherence?
Yeah, it's basically where their quantum states collapse because of environmental interference. Like the slightest vibration can disrupt everything.
So Microsoft is betting on these Majorana particles to build a sturdier house of cards.
Precisely. And, if they succeed, it could really revolutionize the entire field of quantum computing. But this whole idea of stability, it's not just a challenge for quantum computers. It's something we grapple with as humans, too.
Oh, interesting. What do you mean by that?
Well, the article draws a parallel to our own search for meaning and purpose. Just as qubits need stability to function properly, we crave a stable foundation in our lives.
Yeah, I can see that. We're all searching for something solid to hold on to.
Exactly. And for the author of this article, that foundation is faith.
That makes sense. Faith can definitely provide a sense of stability in a world that often feels chaotic. But I gotta be honest, when I hear Majorana fermions, my brain kind of short circuits. Can you break it down for me a little more? Like, what makes them so special in the quantum world?
Well, they're special because they hold the potential to create what we call topological qubits.
Okay, now you're really losing me.
No.
Topological. What?
All right, picture a pretzel. No matter how you twist it or bend it, it still has the same number of holes, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's topology. It's the study of properties that remain constant even when the shape changes.
Okay, so topological qubits are like pretzels.
Kind of. They store information in these persistent properties, these inherent characteristics. And that makes them much more resistant to that decoherence we talked about earlier.
So it's like encoding information into the very fabric of reality itself, rather than relying on these delicate, easily disrupted states.
That's a great way to put it. And this concept of information being woven into the structure of the universe actually ties into some really intriguing ideas about quantum mechanics and its relationship to, how we understand the world.
Okay, now you've got my attention. Tell me more.
So one of the most mind-bending aspects of quantum mechanics is that at its most fundamental level, reality is probabilistic.
Probabilistic? What does that even mean?
It means that the outcome of a quantum event isn't predetermined. It's all about probabilities, kind of like rolling dice.
So instead of a neat, predictable universe, we're actually living in a cosmic casino.
In a sense, yes. And and this raises some really fascinating questions about free will, about divine sovereignty. Like, if the universe is truly probabilistic at its core, does that mean we have genuine freedom of choice? Or is God somehow orchestrating even the roll of the quantum dice, so to speak?
Oh, okay, that's getting pretty deep.
It is. And the article doesn't shy away from those deep questions. In fact, it actually uses this concept of quantum probability to explore the mystery of God's plan for humanity.
So how does quantum probability actually fit into the biblical narrative?
Well, the article suggests that while God knows all the possibilities, he doesn't necessarily predetermine every outcome. It's kind of like, imagine a grand tapestry. God provides the threads, the colors, the overall design, but we with our choices, we contribute to that final pattern.
So it's like we're co-creating with God in a way, weaving our own free will into the grand tapestry of his creation.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And this idea of co-creation through free will, it actually aligns with certain biblical interpretations, interpretations that emphasize the importance of human choice and responsibility.
I like that. It's definitely a more empowering way to think about our place in the universe than just being pawns in some predetermined game.
Right.
It makes me think about all the different choices we make, big and small, and how they ripple outward, affecting not just our own lives, but the lives of others too.
Exactly. Every decision we make has this kind of quantum ripple effect. It influences the probabilities of countless other events. It's a reminder that we're all interconnected, woven together in ways we may never fully comprehend.
It's mind-blowing when you think about it like that. So we've got Microsoft over here chasing these stable qubits, and now we're talking about the very nature of reality, the mystery of free will. I'm starting to see why you said this deep dive was going to be wild.
And we're just getting started.
Oh boy. All right, so where do we go from here?
Well, next, let's shift gears and talk about Amazon's quantum ambitions.
Okay, bring it on. What's Amazon doing in the quantum space?
Well, Amazon has entered the quantum game, and they've got, kind of a multi-pronged approach.
Multi-pronged, huh? Sounds fancy.
Well, they've launched this cloud-based quantum computing service. It's called Amazon Braket.
Amazon Braket, okay.
And it gives researchers and developers, access to different types of quantum hardware.
So they're kind of like a quantum landlord, renting out space in the quantum world.
That's one way to think about it.
Yeah.
But, they're not stopping there. They're going beyond just providing access.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're actually partnering with Caltech.
Caltech, wow.
To develop their own quantum computers.
So they're not putting all their quantum eggs in one basket.
Exactly. They're exploring multiple quantum computing architectures.
Smart move. Kind of like diversifying an investment portfolio, right?
Precisely. It gives them flexibility, increases their chances of hitting on that breakthrough technology.
That's classic Amazon, always thinking long-term, hedging their bets. But, knowing Amazon, they're not doing this just for the love of science, right?
Of course not.
They must have some pretty specific applications in mind.
Absolutely. Imagine the possibilities for a company like Amazon. Quantum computing could revolutionize their supply chain management.
Supply chain management, okay.
Optimizing logistics. Delivery routes, with incredible precision.
Wow, that would be huge for that. I mean, they're already a logistics giant.
Right. And it could also enhance their cloud security.
Cloud security.
Make their systems virtually impenetrable to cyber attacks.
Yes, security is a big deal these days, especially with all the data they handle.
Exactly. And let's not forget about personalized recommendations.
Oh, yeah, those things can be, sometimes they're spot on, sometimes they're way off.
Well, imagine quantum-powered algorithms taking personalization to a whole new level.
It's kind of scary to think about, actually.
Well, that's why the article raises an important point. With this much power at their fingertips, will companies like Amazon actually use quantum computing responsibly?
That's a good question. I mean, we've seen how technology can be used to amplify inequalities or even create new ones.
Right.
So what does the article suggest we do to ensure that quantum computing benefits everyone, not just a select few?
Well, the article emphasizes the need for proactive engagement.
Proactive engagement, okay.
It's not enough to just wait and see what happens. We need to actively participate in shaping the ethical framework for quantum computing.
So what does that look like in practice? How do we actually do that?
Well, it starts with education and dialogue. We need to have, these open and honest conversations about the potential benefits and risks of quantum computing.
Yeah, make sure everyone's on the same page.
Exactly. And these conversations, they need to happen not just within the scientific community, but, in our schools, in our churches, in our communities.
So it's about demystifying quantum computing, making it accessible to everyone, not just the experts.
Precisely. And it's also about, fostering collaboration between scientists, ethicists, policymakers, and the public. We need to develop ethical guidelines for quantum computing that are rooted in principles of justice, fairness, and transparency.
It sounds like a pretty tall order.
It is.
But it's essential work, right?
It is. We can't afford to let these decisions be made in a vacuum, without considering the broader societal implications.
Absolutely. We need to be thinking about the long-term consequences, not just the immediate gains.
Exactly. And while we're grappling with these ethical complexities of quantum computing, another tech giant is, well, they're already making waves.
You know about Google, right?
Yes, Google.
Yeah.
And their claim to quantum supremacy.
Ah, yes. Quantum supremacy. Didn't they build a quantum computer that could solve a problem in minutes that would take a classical computer thousands of years?
That's the claim they made. And while there was some debate, about the specific task and the time frames involved, it was still undeniably a significant milestone.
So Google's quantum computer really did outperform a classical computer.
On that specific task, yes. It demonstrated the potential of quantum computing to surpass classical computing in certain areas.
That's pretty mind-boggling. So what's Google up to now on the quantum front?
Well, they're continuing to push the boundaries, focusing on things like error correction, which is essential for building more reliable and powerful quantum computers. They're also exploring new qubit designs and algorithms, always striving for that next breakthrough.
Sounds like a pretty intense race.
It is. But the article cautions against getting too caught up in this pursuit of supremacy. It reminds us that, that technological progress isn't inherently good or bad. It's a tool.
Right, a tool that can be used for different purposes.
Exactly.
So it's not just about building the most powerful quantum computers. It's about using them wisely and responsibly.
Precisely. And that brings us back to those biblical prophecies we talked about earlier.
The ones about knowledge increasing and love growing cold.
Yes. The article suggests that while quantum computing could lead to incredible advances in knowledge, it's important to remember that knowledge without wisdom can be dangerous.
Yeah. It's like that old saying, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing.
Exactly. And in a world where knowledge is increasing exponentially, it's more important than ever to cultivate wisdom, discernment, and a strong moral compass.
So how do we navigate this tension between technological progress and spiritual grounding? How do we embrace innovation while staying rooted in our values?
The article offers some guidance. It suggests that we approach quantum computing with a sense of awe and wonder.
Wonder, okay.
But also with a healthy dose of caution.
Awe and caution. Interesting combination.
It is. We should be amazed by the potential of this technology to solve some of humanity's most pressing challenges.
Yeah.
But we should also be mindful of the potential pitfalls, the ethical dilemmas, the unforeseen consequences.
So it's about finding that balance. Embracing the possibilities while staying grounded in our principles.
Exactly. And that leads us to another crucial question.
Yeah.
How will quantum computing actually impact our lives in practical terms?
Yeah, that's what I'm really curious about.
Yeah. What are the real world applications beyond the theoretical?
Right, beyond all the mind-bending concepts and hypotheticals.
Well, the article mentions some specific areas where quantum computing could have a huge impact.
Okay, I'm all ears.
One of the most significant is cryptography.
Cryptography. Okay, remind me what that is again.
It's basically the science of encoding and decoding information.
Right. Encoding and decoding.
Much of our digital world relies on cryptography for security.
Security, right?
Our online banking transactions, our email communications, our medical records, they're all protected by encryption algorithms. That are designed to be unbreakable by conventional computers.
So what happens when quantum computers enter the picture?
Well, quantum computers have the potential to crack many of the encryption methods we use today.
Oh, no.
They could render our current cybersecurity measures obsolete.
So all our data could be up for grabs.
Potentially, yes. Exposing sensitive information to hackers and cybercriminals.
That sounds like a major security threat.
It is. And it's why researchers are already working on something called post-quantum cryptography.
Post-quantum cryptography.
Developing new encryption algorithms that are resistant to quantum attacks.
So it's like a race against time, trying to stay one step ahead of the quantum hackers.
Exactly. And the article emphasizes that Securing our, our digital infrastructure is more than just a technical challenge. It's a moral imperative.
A moral imperative, wow.
We have a responsibility to protect people's privacy and security in this, this rapidly evolving digital landscape.
That's it. Well, that's a huge responsibility.
It is. So cybersecurity is one area where quantum computing could have, a major impact.
Yeah.
But there are others.
Like what?
Another area with enormous potential is healthcare.
Healthcare, okay.
Quantum computing could revolutionize drug discovery and development.
Drug discovery, okay. I'm listening.
Imagine being able to simulate complex biological processes.
Yeah.
At the molecular level, understanding how drugs interact with the human body. And, in intricate detail.
That would be incredible.
It would. Quantum computers could help us design more effective drugs, personalized treatments, develop cures for diseases that currently have no cure.
It sounds like science fiction come to life.
It does. But even as we marvel at these possibilities, we need to be mindful of the ethical implications.
Ethical implications, right?
The article reminds us that with great power comes great responsibility.
So it's not just about the science, it's about using this power, wisely, compassionately.
Exactly. We need to ensure that the benefits of quantum computing in healthcare are available to everyone, not just a privileged few.
Right. It shouldn't just be for the wealthy or the elite.
Exactly. We need to guard against the potential for genetic discrimination.
Yeah.
Or the creation of a two-tiered healthcare system where access to cutting-edge treatments is determined by wealth rather than need.
Yeah, that would be a nightmare scenario.
It would.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that, that technological progress doesn't automatically translate into social progress.
We need to make sure that the benefits are shared equitably.
Exactly. And this brings us to another area where quantum computing could have a profound impact. Climate modeling.
Climate modeling. Okay. This is getting interesting.
Climate modeling is it's a complex task.
Yeah.
Involving massive data sets and intricate calculations. Even supercomputers struggle to simulate the Earth's climate system with sufficient accuracy.
So how could quantum computers help with that?
Well, quantum computers could provide the computational power needed to create much more sophisticated and reliable climate models.
So we could get a clearer picture of how the climate is changing.
Exactly. And what we need to do to mitigate the damage.
That would be huge.
Quantum computers could help us predict the extreme weather events, optimize renewable energy systems.
Yeah.
And develop strategies for carbon capture and storage.
It sounds like a powerful tool in the fight against climate change.
It does. But the article also cautions against placing all our hopes in technology alone. Addressing the climate crisis requires a multifaceted approach, individual action, policy changes, technological innovation, and a fundamental shift in our relationship with the planet.
So quantum computing could be part of the solution, but it's not a silver bullet.
Exactly. It's a tool that we can use for good, but it's not a substitute for responsible stewardship of the Earth. And that brings us back to to the broader theme of this deep dive, the intersection of faith and technology.
It's been quite a journey so far, from the mind-bending world of quantum mechanics to the practical implications of quantum computing, and now back to the bigger picture of faith and our place in the universe.
It's all interconnected, isn't it?
It really is.
The scientific discoveries, the technological advancements, the ethical dilemmas, they all invite us to reflect on our relationship with God, with each other, and with the world around us.
So as we delve deeper into the quantum realm, what spiritual insights can we glean? How can we actually integrate our faith with these groundbreaking discoveries?
Well, the article offers some thought-provoking perspectives. It suggests that quantum mechanics, with its emphasis on interconnectedness, resonates with certain biblical themes.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Think about the concept of entanglement, where two particles, even when separated by vast distances, remain mysteriously connected.
Entanglement, yeah. It's like they're communicating faster than the speed of light, defying the laws of physics as we know them.
Exactly. And this interconnectedness at the, at the quantum level, it resonates with the biblical concept of the body of Christ, where believers are united in this spiritual bond that transcends physical boundaries.
So even though we might be, physically separated, we're still connected at a deeper level, a spiritual level.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
And this connection, it's not just metaphorical. It has real world implications.
Oh, interesting. What do you mean by that?
Well, the article suggests that our actions, our thoughts, our prayers, they have a ripple effect.
A ripple effect.
Influencing the spiritual fabric of the universe.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that we're not isolated individuals. We're part of a vast interconnected web of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And our choices have consequences that extend far beyond ourselves.
So it's like that butterfly effect. A small flap of a butterfly's wings can create a hurricane on the other side of the world. Our actions, no matter how seemingly insignificant, can have far-reaching consequences.
Precisely. And this, this concept of interconnectedness, it challenges us to live with greater awareness, compassion, and responsibility.
It's a reminder that we're all in this together.
Right.
And that our choices, they really do matter.
Exactly. And it also invites us to view prayer in a new light. If we're all interconnected at this deeper level, then perhaps our prayers are, they're more than just words spoken into the void.
So you're saying that our prayers are actually having a real impact, even if we can't see it or measure it.
That's a possibility the article explores. It suggests that our prayers can influence the spiritual realm, creating positive ripples that extend outwards, affecting not just ourselves, but also those we pray for.
Yeah.
And even the world around us.
That's a pretty powerful thought.
It is. And it's a reminder that prayer isn't just about asking for things. It's about aligning ourselves with God's will, tapping into the power of his love and grace, and contributing to the healing and transformation of the world.
So even in the face of mind-boggling scientific discoveries and technological advancements, there's still room for faith. Yeah. For mystery, for the unseen forces that shape our lives and our world.
Absolutely. The article emphasizes that while science can help us understand the physical universe, faith helps us make sense of the spiritual realm, the realm of meaning, purpose, and connection.
So science and faith, they're not mutually exclusive. They can coexist, even complement each other.
Precisely.
Offering different perspectives on the same reality.
Exactly. And as we continue to explore the frontiers of quantum computing, it's essential to remember that the most important journey is the one that takes place within the human heart.
The journey of faith, love, and transformation.
Beautifully said.
Yeah, it really is humbling to realize that even with all our intellectual firepower, we're still just scratching the surface. It makes you wonder, what else is out there? What other mind-blowing discoveries are we, on the verge of?
It really does make you wonder. And, as we go deeper into this quantum realm, we have to remember that we're not just exploring, the physical universe. We're also exploring, the nature of reality itself.
It's like we're peeling back the layers of an onion. And just when we think we've got it figured out, there's another layer underneath.
Exactly. And as we encounter these deeper and deeper layers, it's only natural to start asking ourselves, what does this all mean?
Yeah.
What are the implications for how we understand life, the universe, everything?
That's a huge question.
It is a big question. But, the article, it suggests that quantum mechanics, with all its mind-bending concepts, it might actually offer us a fresh perspective on some of these age-old philosophical and theological questions.
Okay, I'm listening. Give me an example.
All right, well, think about the concept of time.
Time, okay.
In classical physics, time is, it's linear.
Yeah.
It flows in one direction, from past to present to future. But in quantum mechanics, time is a lot more fluid. It even suggests, the possibility of time travel or parallel universes.
Whoa, hold on. Are you saying quantum mechanics could, totally shake up how we understand time?
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
And, this raises some really intriguing questions about our relationship with the divine. If time isn't as rigid as we once thought, Does that change how we understand God's eternity? Does it affect our concept of predestination or free will?
Okay, now we're getting into some deep theological waters. It's amazing to think that that scientific discoveries could have such profound implications for our faith.
It is. And, the article suggests that quantum mechanics might also shed some new light on the nature of consciousness.
Consciousness. All right. That's one of those big mysteries that's puzzled philosophers and scientists, forever. How does quantum mechanics even, play into that?
Well, some scientists believe that consciousness might actually be like a fundamental property of the universe.
A fundamental property.
Just like, mass or energy. They speculate that quantum processes in the brain, they might actually play a role in generating our subjective experience of awareness.
So instead of consciousness being, like a byproduct of the brain, it's actually like woven into the fabric of reality itself.
That's one of the theories that's being explored.
Yeah.
And this idea, the idea of a quantum basis for consciousness, well, it has some pretty fascinating theological implications. Like it suggests that we might be connected to a universal consciousness, a cosmic mind, a divine source of awareness.
It's like that line from the poet William Blake, "To see a world in a grain of sand and a heaven in a wild flower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour." It's this idea that, that the infinite is somehow present in the finite, the divine in the mundane.
Exactly. And, quantum mechanics, with all its mind-bending revelations, it might be providing us with a scientific glimpse into this ancient spiritual truth.
It's humbling, but it's also awe-inspiring when you really think about it. It makes you realize that we're part of something so much bigger than ourselves, connected to a reality that's beyond our limited human understanding.
It really is. And as we keep exploring this, this quantum reality, I think it's crucial to maintain a sense of wonder, of curiosity, of openness to the unexpected.
Like we're going on this grand cosmic adventure, and
Right.
we have no idea what amazing things we might find.
Precisely. And as we embark on this, this adventure, it's important to remember that we're not alone. We have each other, we have our faith, and we have, the guidance of the one who created this incredible universe in the first place.
That's a comforting thought. It's easy to get overwhelmed by all the complexity of it all. But ultimately, I think it's a reminder that we're part of something much bigger than ourselves, held in the palm of a loving and all-knowing God.
Beautifully said. And as we wrap up this deep dive into quantum computing and biblical prophecy, I hope our listeners, I hope they walk away with a renewed sense of wonder, a deeper appreciation for the mysteries of the universe, and a stronger conviction that faith and science, they can coexist. They can even complement each other, in our quest for truth and understanding.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey, everyone. Keep exploring, keep questioning,
Right.
and keep seeking the truth, wherever it leads you.